Let's bring Nimari Burnett up. Nimari, how are we doing, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, doing wonderful, man. Y'all, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule, your day, and all of that. I know you're busy. So Nimari, I guess let's start back last year. Heading into the year, Dusty May comes. What's your thoughts on Dusty? And what did you think going into the season? What did you think you guys would have the season you had going into it?
When Dusty first came in and walked to his office, actually, let's rewind a little bit. The first time I seen Dusty like face to face is he came in and talked to the roster from the previous year, and just said, introduced himself, told him who he was, and his philosophy, his coaching style, and what he expects to happen in the near future as far as retaining some guys, and whether guys wanted to leave or stay. That option was completely up to them. And for the most part, everybody was there, and we all got a good feel for Dusty, and just the intro into who he is as a person and as a coach. And then sitting down with Dusty one on one and just discussing future and the roster going forward during that time. And he was like, "Yeah, we're putting together a great front line." He was like, "I know you know Vlad, and we think we got a guy named Danny Wolf coming in," and just went through the whole roster, Trey, Roddy, etc. And I'm like, that sounds really good. I want to make sure it was a good fit for me, and that I was also in the best position possible. So that was what it was, and that's exactly what it was. We had a great year last year. Going into it, I didn't expect us to have as big as a year as we did.
Yeah,
Just like it, you have to be realistic sometimes. And during that time, I'm like, I want to go undefeated, things like that, and have a great run in the Big Ten. You always set the goals and expectations high for yourself and your team.
right.
But I'm happy it went the way it went, and I'm glad that we can, stamp ourselves in history.
Yeah, man. You guys had. I mean, it was to watch the year prior to this season. It was amazing because the fundamental principles, the way you guys were playing ball, offensively, you guys were fun, exciting, fast. Defensively, you guys were locking teams down. So at what point during the year, or maybe it was before the season started, did you get a feeling like, okay, we're for real?
I definitely felt it, early in the year once, we started beating really good teams.
Yeah,
Even though we lost to Oklahoma, I felt like we went toe to toe with them. And, it was a game that we should have won um, against a really good undefeated team at the time. And then what the moment that I really was like, yeah, this is really good, and we're going to be really good is the LA trip. Went down there and into home territory for those guys, and it seemed like it was our home. And, we had two really good games and, convincing games at that. And it was just an exciting time for the year. And it built, we built from there. And obviously it was ups and downs along the road, and, that happens. But we definitely rose up from there on.
yeah, I
So,
remember that. Or go on, Johnny. Go
so,
on.
so what was it like to win the Big Ten tournament and stick it in Sparty's face and stick it in Ohio State's face? Because with football, Ohio State is the main one that we want to,
Yeah,
but basketball, it's more Michigan State. So
yeah.
what was it like to, switch it up on them? And yeah, we the Big Ten tourney champs.
Yeah, no, it felt really good, man. Especially like we lost to Michigan State in Big Ten play, conference play,
Yeah,
twice, and like both times, especially that first time, like man, we could have beat these guys, and so going into the Big Ten tournament, we was like, no matter who's in front of us, we giving it to them. And the first game was against Purdue, and we learned some things from that first time we played Purdue, and some second times as well, or the second time as well, and we definitely did that. And going into Maryland, big time game winner from Trey, and then Wisconsin was also kind of familiar territory. So man, we was just like whoever we play against, we ready. We seen them before, and we was ready for Michigan State. But at the same time, we like if we see them in NCAA tournament, it's up from there as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
we all
sir.
wanted that. And since Johnny opened, I guess he opened the can of worms here. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Nimari.
Hmm.
The half court situation, what was your thoughts on that? With the Michigan State game, what's your thoughts on that? Michigan State took it personal. We think they overreacted, of course. I mean, first of all, what was it like to experience that moment? Like seeing that, the team going through that, and then if you have any takes on it, what's your take on that situation?
Yeah, no, great question. The initial reaction was just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Like why is people reacting like this? And then they were saying, oh, that's the reason because he stepped on Sparty. And I get it, I respect it. In his home
yeah,
court territory, you feel good, by the one Big Ten conference play, basically. I get it. But I still feel like the reaction was unwarranted, especially the two freshman guys. I just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do at the moment.
yeah,
Um, it definitely was a controversial moment. And I think the freshmen handled themselves well. Just sticking up for one another. I think that was the right thing to do. And I feel like that also helped us in Big Ten tournament play. Helped us go in there with a chip on our shoulder, knowing that, the last three games of conference play didn't go the way we wanted to. And this happened as well. All right, bet, let's go.
It brings you together, it seems like.
Most definitely, most definitely. I think LJ and Fat during that moment was like they were on the bus talking like, man, what was he doing? He was doing too much. He was like, yeah, I'm ready regardless. I'm like, yeah, I feel you. And I think
Uh,
that, kind of gave us that late season uniting type of feeling going into tournament play in general.
yeah, definitely.
definitely.
All right, so Namari, let's kind of talk about your year. You had a big year, man. I mean, you got, field goal percentage was up, 3-point percentage was up. You had a strong year for the team. You were there, big moments, strong defensively. You know, when did you feel like you were starting to come into your game this year? And what do you see yourself for next year? Like, what are the things you'll be working on this offseason as well?
Yeah, great question. Last year, each and every year off season, I worked extremely hard to improve different parts of my game. Um, I live and breathe the gym. I love the game in general. I love the game of basketball. I mean, if I'm not watching NCAA or college basketball, I'm watching NBA basketball. Big time basketball fan in general. So I really made sure to be the best and most efficient player I possibly can be on both ends of the floor to impact winning. And that mindset doesn't change. And so going into this next year, continue to sharpen up the shot, um, work on ways to get shot off even quicker, on the move, make it, harder to guard and more ground to cover offensively.
Mm,
And, different reads can be made out of that, whether it's a quick drive or, hitting the big on a roll, etc. Another emphasis is just working on my body. I think that's important for each and every person, each and every basketball player, and making sure I'm the best conditioned out there, being able to run the floor for however long I'm out there, and play that fast type of style of play that Dusty, ignites us to play, and defensively to just be active, see the ball, get deflections, get steals, loose balls, huge on rebounding. And I think, just wanting the ball and having that mindset and then also like the physicality about it will help, me continue to improve in that area.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely, definitely. So a question I like asking athletes like yourself, especially for people who are just fans, or maybe there's aspiring athletes who are watching. Can you kind of give what your schedule is like in the off season when you are training and getting yourself prepared for the following year?
Yeah, for sure. So I try to go to sleep as early as possible. And especially
Yeah.
when we start summer workouts here, we'll probably have early sessions. Um, So I try to go to sleep by 10 p.m. and sometimes that's the latest, depending on how early you're waking up. Go to sleep at 9:39.
Mhm.
And once you train yourself, because people sometimes like, oh man, it's so hard to go to sleep that early. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the first time it's like, man, I'm not really tired. But once you train yourself to do it, you can.
Yeah.
But going to sleep early, getting up around 6, 7, and then hitting the gym. Usually have weightlifting first, get in there with Matt, go hard for 45 minutes to an hour. Um, and sometimes that routine is like foam rolling before, stretching, etc. and then getting out there on the court following around 8 to 9, 9 to 10, around that area. And I like, especially in my individual workouts, and this is before we even have team practices. I like to do a lot of live reads and have managers guarding me, and I think sometimes that's better than just getting up shots. And obviously that's important as well. But you want to be able to make those game time and game speed type of decisions and reads. And then when it's time to practice, we get there down and practice. And I don't know what time we're gonna have practice this summer, but I assume like noon, something like that, and hit it hard and then hit the training room, cold tub, hot tub, get some recovery in, and depending on how my body feel, I might come back up and shoot later that evening. But I'm very, very big in rest and recovery. I think it's vital and important. Those are big things that I've learned, just over the course of my career.
I got a
Absolutely.
quick question, real quick, TJ.
There you go.
On an average day or day to day, how many jumpers are you putting up? How many shots you putting up?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
On a big chunk day, like where I'm like, man, I got a lot of shots, probably like 1,000.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feel like more. And then on a day where it's like a lot of, attacking the basket or like skill work type stuff, probably like 500. So anywhere between there. And it's like, it doesn't feel like it's anything below that. If it is, it's like 400.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's not big. It's not big. All right. So we know, and I know I'm sure the team knows as well, the fan base knows there's some big expectations for next season. How do you guys stay grounded and focused on your next step and not looking too far ahead of yourself? So let's just kind of let's go there. And I have a follow up as well. But like, we know there's expectations for next year. What's your thoughts on those, and how do you guys maintain staying grounded?
Yeah, for sure. I think a part of staying grounded in general is just about being true to who you are, who we are as a group and as an identity. Knowing that
Yeah,
nothing is given yet. They're not just going to be like Michigan Wolverines, 2026 champions out the gate. So it's a lot to work for. And that's just about each and every day, focusing on our summer. Not even thinking about, November. Obviously, it's in the back of your mind, super excited for it, but focus on summer workouts, building, getting stronger faster, building
Mhm.
chemistry, and working on individual parts of the game and then parts of the team game, and then going into the fall and doing the same thing and growing and improving, longer practices. So just staying true to the process.
Yeah. So there are expectations where there are a lot of outlets saying we should be a Final Four team. There is a big expectation there. What is your thoughts on going into the year, and what do you think this team is capable of?
I mean, I feel like we're capable of winning it all. We should start by there.
Me too.
And it's super exciting, to have that label with such a talented and good constructed roster that we have and that Coach Dusty and the coaching staff has built. And being in the gym with those guys, I can see it now, us raising championship trophies up at the end of the year. And so I'm super excited that that's a possibility for us because not every team can say that, and that other people think highly of us. And so we now it's up to us to put it together and honestly even exceed those expectations. That's always what I believe that not only myself but the group ourselves can do.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Johnny, I got one more question. Johnny, if you got one, you can go. But we do have some super chats tomorrow if you're okay with answering those. But
For
I got a
sure.
question for this. I know the fan base wants to know what makes Dusty May such a good coach.
It's honestly his mind, man. Like
Yeah,
when I say I live and breathe basketball, I think he's like,
yeah,
I definitely prioritize sleep, and I'm not saying he doesn't, but
yeah,
he's
yeah,
watching basketball all day long. He's talking about it, he's thinking about it. His film work is exceptional, and I think that impacts how he coaches, and then also him being a people person. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for the type of guy that he is. He's a good guy at heart and at core, and you can attribute that to his upbringing and the things that he has learned throughout his coaching career and just starting up as a manager. But he loves the game of basketball, and so he studies it and he takes bits and pieces of the things that he sees and expands on it. So I think that's a part of why he's such a good coach.
definitely. Johnny, do you have a final question before we get to the super chat questions?
No, you can go ahead. I'll say what I want to say at the end.
All right. Well, first I want to give a shout out to Dean. He's been a member for 9 months. Thank you, Dean. Appreciate you for being a part of the community. We got GT here. Nimari, what was your favorite moment last season? The Sweet 16 Big Ten Championship shot against Rutgers. Which one was it, or was it something else?
Man, as a team, the Big Ten championship, like in that moment, I almost cried. Like
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't cry is like I'm like, all right, I told
Yeah.
myself, I told my team that we want to win the whole thing. We want to win the NCAA championship. So I'm gonna wait to cry then. But that moment felt so special, especially where Michigan basketball was to the previous season. So to be able to raise up that trophy and kind of have like a overnight type of turnaround was a truly spectacular moment. But not just that, but also with my brothers. I've known Vlad for a while, but tons of other guys on that team, all of those guys who built extraordinary relationships that's going to last a lifetime. And one day we're going to come back to Michigan and, have a good old time. So I think that's the number one moment.
Definitely. Okay. We got GT again. Nimari, I can't even make 48% of my free throws. How are you able to average that shooting percentage from the field over the entire season? That's a good question.
Yeah, I just think staying consistent in the gym, not getting too high or too low. Um, and then in those games, staying calm. If you miss one, cool. You got the next one.
Yeah.
Being ready, being available, running the floor, controlling the things that you can control. I think like honestly, as a young kid, you told 90% of the game is mental. I feel like it's 99. So I think up there mentally, just staying composed through the ups or the downs. You can have a great game, cool. You got to do it again. That's a huge part of that.
Okay. I'm gonna skip Elijah's. We'll get to it, Elijah. We'll skip it for now. And Justin as well. We'll get to yours as well. But we got GT again. Nimari, Ohio State fans are claiming that you guys. Oh God, here we go. All right, I don't know where this is going to go, Nimari. We'll see. All right, so Ohio State fans are claiming that you guys stole their signs in order to beat them in Columbus in February. Are they the most delusional fans in America? I'll let you say whatever you want, Nimari.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off by saying they are one of the most delusional fans in America.
Okay.
Because I know a couple of programs that are very, very, very delusional. But I think the delusion makes the game more exciting.
Yeah. Maybe a fan base down the road. Maybe
Yeah.
that fan base might be a bit delusional. Adam Lamparello, shout out to Adam Lamparello. It's been a while. Miss you, buddy. Nimari, where does Michigan need to improve the most to compete for a national title? Great question, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, just going off of things that we talked about so much last season, and obviously improving on our strengths as well. Is obviously the turnovers. Just a lot of times that was a huge, huge thing that we ourselves like, all right, we got to focus on improving in that area and rebounding. I think if we can always win those two battles, we have a large chance of winning each and every game we play. So I think it starts there.
Yeah, definitely, man. Okay, Nimari. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do you have any socials that you want to, shout out to the community or anything you want to share at all? But I mean, but I just want to say, really appreciate you coming on, man, and taking the time out of your day to day. But yeah, let the community know, if you have anything social media wise that you want to share with them or anything.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the University of Michigan. Shout out my guys from, last season. I mean, all the years I've been at Michigan and this season. Super excited to playing in front of the fans with these new guys and giving you guys something to tune in for.
Definitely. I also want to say congratulations on the engagement. Man, honestly, bro, congrats on that. Excited for you. Enjoy the entire journey too, man. Like enjoy the rest of this year, enjoy the grind, the process this summer, and then enjoy the new journey you're going to be taking with your future wife. So enjoy all of that, Nimari. It was honestly a pleasure to have you on. Love to have you on again, man.
No, thank you so much, man.
I got one more thing, TJ.
Yeah.
I see you put the work in. I see it. I looked at your numbers and I see the work ethic. And I know what you want. You want that ring. 15 dudes coming together to accomplish a goal. Go on and get it.
Yes,
Go
sir.
on and get it. You got to bring your brothers along too, though. Everybody not working, you got to bring them together to accomplish a goal. 15 players, 15 brothers.
For sure. Take leadership too. Yep.
Yes, sir. Get it done.
Most definitely.
Get
No, I
it done.
definitely agree, and that's the goal, baby. I'm with you on that.
Yes,
All right,
sir. I know y'all gonna make us proud regardless.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're supporting you, man. Good luck this season, and maybe we'll talk before the season kicks off. All right, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Let's do
Good
it,
luck.
man. Go
All right,
Blue,
have a
and
good one.
thank you guys for having me.
Go
Yes,
Blue,
sir.
friend.
Go Blue.